Okay, so you might have seen a post that I made earlier today about a program that I'm relaunching, kind of a new and improved version of a program that I've done before. I hadn't planned on launching this, but I realized that now more than ever, people have more time on their hands, and I think we kind of have two options. We can totally zone out with Netflix and eat way too much. I definitely ate too much chocolate last week because I, for some dumb reason, stocked up, and then I was like, I should just eat all this. Or we can really dive in and develop our minds and our bodies, and we can use this time to take advantage of the space that we have and do something that maybe we've never had the opportunity to do with our health and our mind, body, spirits kind of together. So I wanted to obviously share a little bit about the program, but before I do that, I want to talk about kind of the conversation around why diets fail and why so many women especially have tried everything. They've been on every diet, they've done every program, they've lost weight a million times, they gain back more, they stress eat, they emotionally eat, they binge eat, they do really good, they're on track, off track. I mean, you guys, I could literally talk for 20 minutes just about what I hear every single consultation I have and have heard for 15 years in this industry of what women deal with their health and fitness. And you know, when I made the decision to close the fitness facility that I owned over 3 years ago now, it was because I wanted to take this message of spiritual fit chick, of the mind, body, soul connection and the spiritual aspect of things to the world, because that's what really matters. And I want to tell you guys a little about my story, because if you happen to be new to following me, or you maybe don't read all my posts, you may not have a clue that the way I got into the whole health and fitness industry was because I went on my first diet at age 9. Literally, my dad said, Holly, you're getting fat, when I sat down to dinner, and my whole world just collapsed from underneath me. And I decided, I was like, I'm never eating again. And that started a really extreme, super long battle with an eating disorder where I literally was hospitalized. I struggled for a really long time, and then when I got into fitness, I kind of just recycled those negative behaviors into clean eating and extreme dieting and over exercising. It took a long time. I just kept reading the books and going to the seminars and getting more certifications, hiring the best trainers, just trying so hard to do it all. But literally into my 20s and years into my career, I was still struggling with food obsession, food addictions, binge eating, you guys have no idea. Eyeballs deep in 6 different drive-thrus worth of food, because emotionally I had just created such a chaotic storm around food and restriction and unworthiness and all of this body image stuff, and it was just so piled on that health and fitness, I did not have a good relationship with them. And that's a really extreme version. That's obviously what fuels my passion for what I do in the world now. But that's here, and this is no problems at all. And there's a million women that are on the spectrum of this, to a little bit of disordered eating, to kind of been there, to maybe they've been healthy, but then they oscillate and kind of go back and forth. And that's really what all of my work is about, because up until the point that I decided to take a more spiritual mindfulness approach and I let the physical approach, or the physical side of things, become an afterthought instead of the main focus, that's when my health started to truly shift. That's when I started to cultivate a relationship with my body and eating and working out and loving myself that changed everything for me. And that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with the healing arts and holistic living and mindset and success. And it wasn't just everything's good. It was more like this, because I definitely had a lot of deep-rooted behaviors. When I started competing and tried fitness competitions, a lot of triggers came up. Even when I competed in strongman, that feeling of inadequacy and self-doubt and I'm not good enough and I have to try harder bubbled back up. But I constantly had my new tools, my new way of looking at things to fall back on, to keep me grounded and keep me centered and keep me in a healthy mindset with my body and with myself, and not in that binge, overeat, crazy cycle that I had been in it for so many years. And that's really what this program was kind of birthed out of. I've ran it once before, and it's kind of like a group format of the work that I do one-on-one. There's a lot of different really amazing elements that work with the emotions. They work with the triggers of why we, are even provoked to overeat or to stress eat. Like, obviously we don't want to just learn to not do that. We want to get to the root of the trigger and facilitate an environment that's more grounded and balanced, to where we don't have the compulsion or the urge to eat 6 sleeves of Oreos, when we had a bad day. And we want to work out and move our bodies in a way that's nurturing and fulfilling, not like a punishment because you ate a cupcake. There's so many different elements of this, basically approaching fitness and health from a place of self-love rather than you're not good enough and you're never going to be good enough and you have to change to be good enough, deprivation and sort of self-punishment. And that's really, if I had to sum up how what I do in the industry now is different than what I did 15 years ago or what a lot of other people in the health and fitness industry do, it's that it centers on mindfulness and getting your mind, body, soul, like all of this aligned together so that you're working in synchronicity and you're working in a way that feels good. It feels good to eat good. You're not forced. It's not this power struggle of calorie counting and the newest diet trend and shit, I messed up and now I'm off track, so I might as well just binge eat all weekend. It's none of that. You don't have any sort of connection to your self-worth or your identity that has anything to do with food. And it becomes natural and it becomes enjoyable. It becomes a lifestyle that you're not forcing yourself to try to, if I could just do this, I've got a cruise coming up, so I need to not eat and I need to do all this because I'm going crazy and I don't feel good about myself. You just dwell within the lines. Again, it's going to move a little bit. You might veer out a little bit, but you constantly come back because of this new way of seeing yourself and this new way of living and experiencing life that is rock solid. And it doesn't exist without these practices and without these tools. Like, you have to learn. There's a lot of different tools and I use a lot of them. But I've seen what happens when you try to approach this from a superficial diet, calorie, macro, weightlifting, exercise, cardio, newest trend, newest pill, newest potion aspect. I've seen that. I've lived that. I've worked with thousands of people that have done that and failed. And then I've seen the opposite, and not just with my own programs in my own life, but I've, met other incredible people that use different tools all along the same lines of working with the subconscious mind, learning to tune in and actually connect with your body and eat intuitively and kind of create this sacred practice of movement and food and everything, instead of this commercialized, controlled, restricted way of, approaching food and exercise, which really America kind of takes the cake on. Well, there's other countries too, but America as a whole, we don't have the sacred kind of approach and rituals around food really at all. We don't have, of course we have yoga, but there's so much of the like no pain, no gain boot camp kind of style movement in the US. Like, there's a lot of just that American spirit that kind of goes against everything centered, grounded, intuitive, mind, body, soul. And that's what this whole program is all about. So now that I've kind of given the story and shared so much, hi guys, I love seeing the hearts. Now that I've shared a little bit of, my story and the approach that I use and everything else, I want to tell you a little bit specifically about this program. So like I said, I've only ran this in a group format once before. And I just really felt like this morning, first thing, I was like studying and literally was just like, do this now, now is the time. And we use a couple different modalities. There's going to be a weekly Zoom call where we get to all connect and share our goals and intentions. And so there's this really powerful element of group energy, group intention, group accountability and support that is like, if you've ever been in any kind of group program, it's powerful. I love the scripture and the quote, where 2 or more are gathered. When you set that intention and everyone's coming together for a common goal, magic can happen. So you get that beautiful element. And then we go through these different practices together. You'll have homework to do each week that you can do on your own. There's going to be classes each week where I walk you through how to create this in your own life. So yes, you're going through the program as a whole and you're being led through daily practices each day, but then you're also going to have tools that show you how to build this outside of the 30-day program. Because one of the things I've always really prided myself on is that I want people to graduate from working with me. That's my ultimate goal, is to get people to graduate from needing me. And sure, they may need me down the road, or, you know, I'm a coach. I still use coaches. I'm a therapist. I still use therapists. So it's not that you should ever get to a point where you don't need anything, but you should be able to develop and cultivate tools that allow you to navigate this on your own, at least temporarily or periodically. And so that is my goal, is to teach you little tricks and tools and rituals and all of these things to start implementing in your life. I show you exactly how to trickle it in so that you're not overhauling your system, because there's a science to behavior change, guys. I should have mentioned that in the whole beginning. The traditional approach to fitness and weight loss and exercise and dieting is so backwards. It's so backwards and it's so wrong, and it is why people fail so much. The science and the psychology of change, like the fitness industry comes along and it's like, no, we don't need that. And it's just like tries to override it. But again, it rarely works. So the approach that I use is so rooted in science, but then it's also rooted in spirituality and mindfulness. And of course, I have the nutritional aspect. I have the exercise science, background. I have all these different things too. So we add in those in a perfect, beautiful, cohesive way that sticks. We get to the root, we move out what's really going on, what's really causing you to overeat or stress eat or not stay on track. We add in some really strong pillars of mindfulness and practice, and then we get to talk about all the fun stuff about how to find the right foods for you and how you really should be moving to feel good. And we work on self-love, and we work on all this stuff because it all comes together in this beautiful picture, like this big spectrum. And if you try to work on one thing without working on all the others, you're just going to end up back at square one. And again, that's why I don't just hand out meal plans to people. I do some just personal training, but we generally always have life coaching sessions in there too, because I'm a big picture person. Like, that's where my skills really get to be utilized in the most beautiful way. So I don't want to be too long-winded here because I'm going to make other posts about it, but I wanted to share. I had a couple people reach out to me and ask me, what's this program about, whatever. The greatest part about this, guys, so if you went through these same steps, this same process in the same program, it would be $11.99 for that first 30 days for everything that we're going to do. And this group program with the group support, accountability, private Facebook group, and everything, it's going to be $2.99. It is limited spots. I'm only opening it to 20 people because we like to keep it very small and specific with the perfect people who are really committed to the change and showing up for the work. And it's going to launch April, is it 5th? It's this first Sunday in April. So it's like not that far away. Like I said, I just made the decision to relaunch it this morning because I felt that intuitive nudge to do it. Normally I have a little bit more time to prepare. So if you guys are wanting in, I haven't sent this out to my mailing list or talked about it anywhere else except for here now. So if you guys want in, you want to join this process, you want to stop being on the merry-go-round of over and over and over, same mistakes, same issues, you want to learn like actual skills that you can take through for the rest of your life and create relationships with other badass, amazing women that you very well may be friends with for the rest of your life, let me know. Drop a comment. If you don't want to post publicly, send me a message. Let me know, guys. This is going to be an incredible journey. I'm honored to be leading it again, and I cannot wait to see. I always know that the perfect people who need this are going to show up, and that is my intention. I'm here to serve and lead you guys through it, and I can't wait to share. So that is it for now. Let me see if there are any. Hi, Elizabeth. Let's see. Glow is here. Leah. Awesome, guys. There's a lot of you here. I couldn't really see from way back there. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I can't wait to talk to you. Bye.